fellow collectors and action figure fans, it's the one and only Optibottoms coming to you with another old subscriber. Thanks for coming back. If you're a new one, welcome. Before you leave, make sure that you hit the subscribe button and bell notification so that you get instant email notifications whenever I upload a new review. And on today's episode, we're taking a look at something very special. We have the new Jurassic World Legacy Collection, Brachiosaurus. Now, this is a figure that Jurassic fans have been waiting for a long time. Me personally, when I saw this movie as a kid, the first dinosaur that you're introduced to really is the Brachiosaurus, and it is majestic. And what they did for the package here was artistically recreate that with the figure itself. You can see the Brachiosaur going after the tree. You've got some guys down here. Obviously Ellie, you have Dr. Grant, and of course John Hammond. So when I look at this package, I'm instantly reminded of what I saw when I first saw it in the film. And I absolutely love that. This is exactly what I would want in the packaging. The top section here has the Jurassic World Legacy Collection logo. Side here, not really anything. This, yes, I opened it. I couldn't wait. I love this thing. On the back here, you get more of a scale image of what we're dealing with. You can see how big this gets in comparison to a little boy who's amazed. And you can see that it is 71 plus centimeters or a little over 28 inches tall. This thing is massive. It comes in 3 parts: the neck, the body, and the tail. And that's it. And it's big, so the package for it needs to facilitate really only those 3 pieces, but massive pieces nonetheless. But for the packaging on this guy, that's about it. So without further ado, let's get her out here and see how cool she actually is. And here we have her opened up out of her packaging and fully assembled. And when I use the word majestic, that's absolutely how amazing this piece is. Now I'm going to tell you a real quick story. When I knew this was coming out, I knew that it was going to be hitting stores. The Legacy Collection is a Target exclusive, at least here in North America. So my girlfriend and I went into Target, not knowing that it was going to be on the shelf. And when I went into the toy section, I saw this behemoth sitting there. I instantly lit up. The best way to describe it, my girlfriend would say that I was like a kid in a candy store. My face just exploded with happiness. Grabbed it, walked around the whole store carrying that box under my arm. Got up to the cash register to pay for it, and they told me that I couldn't. Target decided that they were going to change their planogram, which is their layout, right, for the new line of stuff coming out. They put the tag on there that said $49.99. It was on the shelf. They had this on the shelf, and they wouldn't sell it to me because it has a street date of October 6th. So they refused to sell it to me. Now, luckily, today is the 6th, and I was able to find one. However, I just want to say that Target, shame on you for allowing your employees to kind of break your rules. This should not have been put on the shelf. You could have had the tag on the shelf. That's perfectly fine. But for the product to actually be on there is not cool. Somebody did not do their job properly, and if they're not doing their job properly with this, what else are they not doing their job properly? Or what else are they messing up, I guess? But I digress. At the end of the day, I got her. But that is a very common problem with Target and something that they should fix. But this is a gorgeous, gorgeous figure. Simple, believe it or not. Like I said, there's only 3 pieces to it. There's a neck section that you have to plug in, the body, and the tail. Now I have heard rumor that the tail section, what you actually clip into the body, on some have been missing. Unfortunately, that is the case with a lot of people's that I've seen. Fortunately though, mine was not flawed like that. So I have a perfect Brachiosaurus, and I couldn't be happier. The size of it is massive. As you can see, lengthwise, you get an idea of how big she is. Height-wise, I'm 6'3", by example, this is not even her head fully up. This is her head fully up. I don't even know, it's not even now in frame, so you can't even see how tall she is. But it is incredible how big this is. I'll bring in some other things for some comparisons later on. I have a special guest that I'm going to bring in for comparison purposes. But this is fantastic how it looks. The detail, the paint job, everything on here is really very well done. You can see that the under section of the neck, even coming down to the under portion of the body, has a lighter coloring to it, whereas the top section here has a much darker coloring. And you can see a tremendous amount of detail sculpted into the entire piece itself. Coming in closer so that you can see some of that, like I said, the sculpted detail in it is outstanding all the way throughout it. You even look at like the legs area down here, and it almost looks like there's built-in or molded-in scratches into her thighs. I really notice it kind of on this side over here. It kind of looks like that maybe it's just folds in the skin, but that's tremendous amount of detail. The top section, like I said, you can see a very nice paint variation with some browns and grays and things like that. That really does absolutely impress me with the level of detail. The only part that I really wish that they did, and this is something that is kind of common, is kind of wish that they painted the toenails, but that's something that I could easily do with a black Sharpie or something like that. But again, I'm just blown away by the size of the piece. Like I said, getting the neck fully up there. She's taller than me. I'm trying to look, I want to see the camera here, but she definitely looks like she's taller than me. Obviously she's on my table, but this is just a massive figure. Now you see me moving the head up and down. There is that level of articulation. You can also rotate at the base of the neck. There isn't anything throughout the rest, although there is a section right here which is a two-piece bit that you theoretically could have, but because of the oval nature of the neck, it would obviously have broken that sculpt. So I'm glad they didn't put in an articulation joint right here. I do kind of wish that they put something up here with the head in terms of rotating it. What's amazing is you can articulate the mouth, and a tremendous amount of detail inside there. Hopefully you're going to be able to see it. But you got sculpted in teeth, you got the nice paint detail for the tongue, and the head sculpt on here is absolutely gorgeous. The detail in here though is just absolutely incredible. Like I said, you got those nice teeth sculpted in with the pink detail for the tongue and everything. Just gorgeous sculpt. The eyes have this gorgeous black paint on there with a nice gloss to it, which gives it a very real look. It's funny, for me, as a kid growing up, there were two kind of long neck dinosaurs. You had the Brachiosaurus and the Brontosaurus. Now apparently the Brontosaurus doesn't exist anymore, but I always told the difference because the Brachiosaur had the nostrils and the nose on the top of his head, whereas the Brontosaurus didn't. The Brontosaurus had it down where the normal nose is. So that's how I kind of did things differently, but you know, poor Brontosaurus. Now, for her articulation, it is a little bit more limited than what we got with other dinosaur figures from Mattel. The head section here, you can see swivels up and down. You do have that rotation. The mouth also does open and close. Like I said, nothing else in the neck. Come down to these legs. Heavy duty ratchet joints on here, which kind of lock things in a couple different positions. You have one kind of locking right here, another one right down there. No real in and out. I mean, it does kind of wiggle a little bit in and out, but I don't think that's necessarily part of the articulation. And you have that for both of the legs. Come down to the back, and again, you do have that kind of in and out feel, but I don't think it's really meant to be like that. But then you get the rotation there, and then you can hear the large ratchet joint that primarily are used to line up where she should be standing. So you're not going to get a ton of articulation. And I wonder if you can pull this pose off. Yeah, she's a little bit too top heavy to do that, to stand on her back legs. I mean, you could probably balance it if you had like a table like this where you could have the back end hang off, but I wouldn't recommend it. And then you come to the tail, which again is a separate piece you have to plug in, and that just wiggles side to side, so you can twist the body a little bit. All in all, a gorgeous, gorgeous piece that the sheer size just blows me away. So let's do some comparisons. And here she is with a variety of different figures from Mattel. That way you can see an overall size and how she stacks up with other dinosaurs. Up first, the completely fictional Indominus Rex, which is probably one of the biggest large dinosaur figures that they've put out. But you can see, dwarfs the Indominus Rex. She's massive. Here we have her next to the T-Rex. Again, huge difference. You got the Triceratops, which is pretty tiny. Here we have Blue. And then, of course, Dr. Alan Grant, which, just moving this out so that you can kind of see what we have going on, that is super tiny. And then, of course, the vehicle that was first kind of shown with this beautiful little beast, the Jeep Wrangler. And again, I'm just blown away by the size of this. And for a final comparison, here she is with my newest little baby girl. This is Pepper, and you can see definitely bigger than a cat. She seems perfectly okay with a Brachiosaurus, right, little baby? Oh, are you gonna jump from there? Don't do it. Let's move you jump, would you? This is a cute baby. Okay. But overall, seriously, I cannot recommend this enough. If you are a dinosaur fan, if you're a Jurassic Park fan, this is a must-have. This is as iconic for the film as the T-Rex was, in my opinion. As I talked about, when you first saw the movie, this was the first full dinosaur that you saw. Going into, I remember it very clearly, not knowing what to expect. What were these dinosaurs going to look like? Will it be something that I will believe is a real creature walking around on screen? And when I saw her in frame, and that camera pulls back, and she reaches up and she grabs some leaves from that tree, I was hooked from that point on. And I cannot give Mattel enough credit for doing something this grand. I mean, they were not afraid to do the super colossal T-Rex or super colossal Velociraptor Blue that's also out. So to do this, it's incredible. There's a good weight to it. It is hollow for the most part, but it still has a heavy duty feel, and they still have articulation in it. The detail is phenomenal. The sculpt work is amazing, and it's only $50, which still blows me away that something this large has a price tag of that. They've been doing an amazing job with their pricing, and it continues with this. I don't know what else they can do to kind of blow me out of the water. This is, in my opinion, like the pinnacle of what they can do. So I'm hoping that they're able to do other things and push those boundaries even further, because to do it with this was exemplary, and I honestly, I can't give them enough credit. But that being said, if this is a piece that you would like to add to your collection, as I mentioned, it is a part of the Legacy collection. That means that here in North America, it is a Target exclusive. There have been issues with Target, the Spinosaurus, other things coming out that cause problems for collectors. So if you are looking for good luck and happy hunting. But beyond that, guys, that's about it. Before you leave, I want to say thank you for tuning in and ask you, do one small thing for me. Let's hit that thumbs up button. That one small gesture really does go a long way towards helping me out, and I would really appreciate it. If you made it all the way to the end, of this review, thank you. Another way that you can really help support my channel is making sure that you watch the video all the way to the end. And a huge shout out to all of my patrons, who through their continued support, now more than ever, help to make reviews like this possible. And if you'd like information on how you can help support my channel by becoming a patron, feel free to check out my Patreon page at patreon.com/optibotanist. And finally, remember, grow wise, grow strong, but never grow up. Thank you for watching and taking the time to be a kid.